Today's question: as an INTP, I'm struggling with analysis paralysis. How can I channel my love for thinking into productive action without getting lost in endless contemplation? What's up, legends? Sherman here from Geek Psychology, where I help geeks, gamers, and creatives to leverage their personality type, to live into their strengths, to avoid their weaknesses, to cover up some of those, to find more motivation and live a life of meaning and purpose. And when one is procrastinating, we likely are struggling with motivation and we're struggling with getting stuck in a weakness. So I want to help you out with this because this is something that I used to deal with as well. As an INFP myself, we have some similar dynamics. So let's go into talking about personality type. I call INTPs the innovating adepts. You have this character within yourself, the innovating explorer that wants to brainstorm and look at endless possibilities, look for new opportunities all the time, and connecting up ideas, springboarding this one to this thing. It's kind of like this, and getting a broader understanding of what something is by noticing the patterns. So that was a supportive mentor-like function. And then you have your introverted thinking as your dominant function, the analyzing adept. This is like the scientist in your mind, the intellectual aspect of yourself that is analyzing. It's more clearly defining, refining information. It's got like this spreadsheet of all the different information. You can like zoom in on it. You can double click and it opens up. And there's even more complex or simplified information within that. That's so important to you to understand how something works at a core, fundamental, deep down first principles level. And so when you are having analysis paralysis, you're probably thinking that you're missing some information. And if you just think about it more, if you just, throw some more mental energy into it, then you will figure it out. You'll find the min-maxed, highest leveraged aspect or decision or choice or whatever it is, and you'll be able to take that. And then you can start. I know from my experience that that is a fun place to be. It's exciting because you're using your strengths. You're like, well, can I think more about this? For me, it's a little different. I understand. But I always want to throw more mental energy at more mental spaghetti at the wall and see what happens. Because I feel that there's some sort of understanding that I can get. But that's not how it works. Like up until a point, sure, that's good. But then after that, you're just wasting time and energy not doing something that you could have taken a step, done something, got some feedback, and then done more educated things after that by having more feedback, by having more information. Because outer world feedback is going to give you the most and the highest leverageable information. Your experience is going to teach you a lot more than thinking about it endlessly. Because if you already knew, if you had the right information, you probably would have already made the right decision. And up until a point, you just need to go, okay, well, what will satisfy these core aspects, these core components that I want within this choice? And if you just go with it, I know you don't want to do it. If you just go with it, get that feedback, then go again, you're going to be happier because you're making more decisions that are giving you more information, more feedback, more opportunities to explore or to understand something deeper because you've engaged it. And I call all of this fapping, falsely assuming progress. I know there are other connotations for it, intentional, because it's like, oh, this feels kind of good to think about this, to imagine all these different options and possibilities. But really, I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving any needle forward in my life by not taking any actions. Evan Pagan was one of my mentors, at least within the courses that I've taken and certification. He talks a lot about speed of implementation. And the faster that you can do something, the faster that you'll get that feedback. And your intention is to go to version 3 as fast as possible. Because whatever the first thing is, it's going to suck. You just can't make the perfect choice without ever having to readjust it. It's not possible. As much as we might try, and especially you, I sympathize with your personality type and how it wants to so deeply find that core component so that everything else makes sense. Because if that is incorrect, then everything else that comes after that is going to be incorrect, right? But you're going to get more information, more wisdom, more expertise through doing it and getting feedback. So treat it all as a complicated success. You do the thing, didn't work, did work, good. Implement that into making more refined and better decisions for the future, and just keep it as an open loop process. And then you always get to think about it. And then you always get to be involved in it and see how you can refine it. But you're actually making some progress with it. You're not just stuck in analysis paralysis, which, if you think of a metaphor, most of the time I hear people saying, like, well, I am stuck in this sludge. I don't know how to take the right step forward, or I don't know which step to take. And if you think about it metaphorically, and if you imagine being in that situation, like, any step is better than not taking a step. Usually. Depends on the rest of the metaphor. But if you're just standing there looking for years or months or days and trying to figure out which is the best step to take, then like that doesn't serve you anymore. And I know that a part of you wants to make the best decision so that you don't make any mistakes, so that you don't hurt yourself or get hurt, so that you don't let yourself down. I understand that. Knowing that you are the age that you are now, you have all these experiences. You're not the same version of yourself when you were 7 years old and you made that mistake and people laughed at you. Well, then you can do it. You can move on. You can take those steps, get out of that muck, get to a higher level, and move forward with your life. Move on. Just some thoughts on how to deal with analysis paralysis, because I've done it too. And the, every time I make a decision, after having thought about it for way too long, I make a decision, I do the thing, I'm like, why didn't I do that earlier? It would have been so much easier if I just did it and moved on with my life every single time. And all I've done is condensed that loop, make the pattern go a little bit faster. So I catch myself sooner, I take action sooner, I refine it sooner, I go on, I move on to the next thing. And I fully believe that you can do it too. So I hope that this video helped. If it did, check out this video over here and let me know down below in the comments what helped you. Give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, share it with your chums, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.